Hi BookTube! I'm sharing another original tag with you all today, which is Buffy the Vampire Slayer tag because I love Buffy. I grew up with Buffy. I love this series. There is one other book tag, but it is completely different questions, which is the Buffy book tag, which I will link down below, but it has nothing to do with this one. You should check the other one out and do both because, you know, Buffy is always necessary. So let's get right into it, because this is going to be a long video. Buffy, the damsel that does the saving. Name a female character that does the saving or needs nobody to save her. And for me that is These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. That is Lilac or Lilac, I'm not completely sure how to say her name, but she doesn't need anybody to save her. She needs help, but she is pretty good in saving herself and saving others, and she's a really strong female character that does the saving quite a lot in that book. Xander, the hilarious linchpin in the group. Name either a character that brings or holds friends together, or a character that always makes you laugh. I would have loved to find a book where there is a character that is kind of the linchpin of the group that holds them all together, but I couldn't find one on my shelves or in my recent memory of books that I read. But I do know a very hilarious character, and that is Kate from The Manhunting by Jennifer Crusie. Kate she doesn't mean to be funny or hilarious or makes anything specifically or says anything specifically to make you laugh, but she really tries very hard to find a guy, and the dates she goes on just always turn up bad. Either the date is being hurt or is getting hurt, or generally end up in some kind of horrible situation. So all her dates end up horrible, and the situation in those dates are hilarious to me. And Kate is also a very sarcastic and realistic voice that I just loved and always find hilarious if I reread this book. And if you haven't read it, I really recommend it. Williow, the wallflower that became the centerpiece. Name a character that became very powerful, either good or bad. The main character, the Court of Mist and Fury, which is where she became powerful, which is not a spoiler by the way, because in the first book she's human and in the second book she's fake. She really grows into her character and into her newly acquired powers, which, you know, is always interesting to read about, and Sarah J. Maas really did a fantastic job. Giles, the father figure. Name a fantastic father or father figure. So for me, the great father figures are the dads in Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. They're real and great fathers. They really care for Lola. They take great care of her. They're really fantastic fathers. And yeah, I really love them. And Perkins really did a fantastic job with them. Those two dads are wonderful. Joyce, always trying to be a good mother. Name a wonderful mother figure. For me, that certainly is Molly Weasley from Harry Potter. And I mean, I don't really love Molly all the time. She makes some pretty big mistakes, that always tries to do the right thing. She clearly loves her children and her husband, and she always tries to do what she believes is right for her family. And I think that is what makes a good mother. Angel, the first love with a bad, dark side. Name a character that appeared or pretended to be nice but turned out dark or bad. The character is named the Darkling in Shadow and Bone by Lee Bardugo, so certainly he's not supposed to be nice, but he certainly appears to be nicer than he turns out to be. And I won't say any more because, you know, spoilers if you haven't read the Grisha trilogy, but if you haven't, you really should, and if you have, you know what I mean. Spike, the one that tries to do the right thing and mostly fails. Name a character that tries so hard to be good, either one that succeeds in being good or one that fails in being good, or both. For me, that is Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which has both main characters, Victor and Ellie, and they try really hard to do the right thing in their own opinion, and I won't say which one is really good and which one is bad because that would spoil the book if you haven't read it, but you know, both guys really just try so hard to do what they think is right, and yeah, that is all I have to say to that, and you should read this book if you haven't because it is wonderful. Drusilla, the one that seems crazy but noticed all the things. Name a character that seems strange or crazy. Luna Lovegood in Harry Potter, which she's just the strangest character I ever read about, but at the same time Luna is so much more than someone that believes in things that others don't believe in and don't seem to be real. She notices things. She's very wise for her age, and she just takes everyone as they are without expecting them to change for her or be anything but what they are. She was who she was, even if others called her or saw her as crazy or strange. Luna was who Luna was, and Luna Lovegood will always be the crazy, strange character, but that I love endlessly. Darla, the bad mother figure. Name a mother figure that was really horrible at it. And for that I have two, and that is Stitching Snow by R.C. Levis and Winter by Marissa Meyer. Both of them are in fairy tale retellings for Snow White, and they have the horrible stepmother, new queen kind of thing, and both of those are terrible people overall, but they are horrible at taking care of anybody, let alone a child. Oz, the one that gives you fuzzy feelings. Name a character that is a great boyfriend, but maybe has something that stops him from being perfect. And for me that is once again Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas' character, and that is Raysan, because I just love him and I think he would make the perfect boyfriend, and it's just that everybody else seems to hate him or is afraid of him or thinks he's evil, but that wouldn't stop me. So Raysan, come on over here, I'm waiting. Cordelia, the queen bee. Name a character that loves to be the center of attention and does everything she can to stay in the spotlight. Gideon Lockhart is the perfect example of someone that loves to be firmly in the center of attention and really does everything he can to stay in that, and really doesn't stop at anything to keep himself firmly planted in the center of attention. Anya, the old soul. Name a character that seems or appears older than their actual age. It's Tiger Lily in the book Tiger Lily by Jodi Leon Anderson. Tiger Lily in this book, she's a child in the book, but she clearly sees and understands more and just doesn't really behave age appropriate, and she's a very mature character. And yeah, she's a wonderful character, so I really recommend this book as well. Tara, the dreamer that is very passionate. Name a character that grew into his or her own. A character that grew into herself is Marie from All the Lights You Cannot See. And if you haven't read this might be a bit of a spoiler, but really isn't. And that is that Marie is blind, and with the help of her father, especially in the beginning, her father helps her a great deal, but she grows into her blindness. She learns how she can see the world around her without actually being able to see the world around her, and she learns how to survive on her own while still being blind, and just her father really teaches her how to sound out the world around her and see through that way, and she grows up to be into somebody that knows what she wants and does what she wants to do on her own and doesn't need anybody to help her even though she's blind. She really grew into herself. Dawn, the little sister. Name a sibling character or just siblings in general. The seamstress, put the English title and the author's name here. Emilia and Lucia dos Santos from The Seamstress are wonderful sisters. They clearly love each other, even though they're both so completely different from each other, which I also loved about this book, because there are two sisters that are completely opposite from each other, but they still get along. And, they just try to help each other out when they can and find each other, and just, it's a wonderful read about a sister relationship where both are so different from each other, but they still like each other and help each other and would do anything to help each other out if they can. Even if they don't really understand why their sibling is doing something, they will support them, and I think that is a wonderful sibling relationship. Faith, the one that doesn't really fit in. Name a character that wants to find his or her place, but somehow always stands out, and for me that is Sherlock Holmes. He never manages to keep his deductions to himself. He always stands out. In the books he's described as a rather specific looking person, in a way very ugly, so he stands out in the physical ways as well, but he also never keeps his interpretations of situations to himself, and he stands out because of that. He always has something to say, many times when nobody wants to hear what he has to say. Wesley Wyndham Price, the one that wanted to do it all perfectly. Name a character that is a perfectionist, wants to be perfect, or wanted everything to be done or in a very specific way. Felix Fitzwilliam in The Perfect Son by Barbara Claypole White. This is just one of the best literary examples for perfectionism, I think. He has obsession, compulsion, order. He's very obsessive about his order and routine, and it's very specific need to have everything exactly how he needs it to be, and that really hinders him in his normal life, in his family life. And yeah, especially having a special needs son as he does in the book is just something that does not fit into his OCD life, and it's a very wonderful book. I really recommend it. Once again, Parker, The One Night Stand. Name a book series that you would have enjoyed more if it would have stayed 1 or 2 books at the most. For that, I have quite a few, but especially one that is very popular that I feel kind of the odd one out, because for me, the Lunar Chronicles, which I only have one to buy, is just a series that I think if Marissa Meyer would have shortened this entire series to 1 or 2 books, she would have told it all better. Because I felt throughout those long 4 books, especially in the last 2, there were many scenes repeated over and over again. And if she would have cut those out, if she would have made Cinder longer or Cinder and Scarlet longer and would have included all the characters that she did, she would have made a wonderful duology or one book and told the entire Lunar Chronicles so much better. At least in my option. Riley, the perfect soldier. Name a character that is very organized, or name a character is a soldier. Quarterman Strike from the Cuckoo's Calling, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, by Robert Galbraith or J.K. Rowling, but he's actually both. He is an ex-soldier, and he makes sure that his space, both at home and in the office, are kept very clean and orderly, and he's very organized as well. Harmony Candle, the stereotype. Name a character that is the best example for a stereotype, or name a book that has a lot of stereotypes in it. For me, that is the Bronze Horseman, and especially Tatiana. She is to me the stereotypical female romance lead. She behaves really stupid, can't decide what she wants to do, and once she decided what she wanted to do, she does something completely different anyway, and I wanted to slap her quite a few times during the entire book. And it's not just she's a stereotypical female romance lead, but she's also a really stereotypical youngest child that just doesn't seem to be able to handle responsibilities at all, which was honestly just insulting to me because I'm the youngest child myself. And she gets handed money in this book to buy food to survive a coming war, instead of going and buying as much food that will last for her family to survive. She buys herself an ice cream because how bad can the coming war be if it's sunny out and people are selling ice cream? So yeah, how important can food be anyways? To me, Tatiana was one of those overall stereotypical characters that I could rant on and on about. And the last question, question 20, Andrew Wells, the tag-along. Name a character that always seemed to need to tag along or take part in things that he or she has nothing to do with. This character came to mind as I made this tag, so I had to include it, and that is Neville from the books in Harry Potter. In the first few books, he really wanted to take part in the big adventures that Harry and Ron and Hermione go to, but at the same time, he clearly can't do it because he doesn't really fit in with the 3 and their magical abilities, but he still wants to do all that they can, and it's just, as I said, for the first few books, Neville, just as Andrew in the show, clearly doesn't belong where he tries and wants to be, but yeah, he's a wonderful character, and he really evolves into something wonderful that is able to tag along, but you know, Neville at the start of the series is a tag along that doesn't fit. And that was the Buffy the Vampire book tag. I would love it if you do this, especially if you love Buffy. I would love to hear the answers for this tag that I invented. I would love to hear some books with great mothers and father figures, since I really feel that there is way too few out there. So I would love to get some recommendations. If you do the video and you have some people in mind that you know love Buffy, please feel free to tag them. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you give it a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!